Well, our moms think we're funny.
Hey everybody, welcome to...
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish, right? I'm gonna let you finish.
What? Come on.
All right, go ahead.
Good strong start. Oh shit, well we didn't do our little introduction with the joke thing.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
No, that's okay.
So, hi everybody, welcome to Our Moms Think We're Funny. I'm Acomi.
Hey everybody, this is Turk182.
Wallcrawler 1.
Hey, so a special guest, Wallcrawler 1, is here with us for another one of our podcasts.
Yeah, so, today we have decided to discuss our top 10 favorite movie soundtracks.
Yes.
So, this was one we actually tried recording, when we had the bad mic that was corrupting all of our audio, so we had recorded, like, the entire thing, and then realized, it was like, wait a minute, there's a problem here, and then just, it all fell through. But then, hey, Wallcrawler decided to join us, so it's all working out pretty good in the end here, I think.
Maybe.
Maybe. So, I guess some ground rules that we had laid out is that, you can't do stuff from, like, musicals, right?
Right. Because it's... So anything where the lyrics to the song, right, move the plot. So if you took the song out, it would remove a whole, like, section of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think we mentioned, like, Rocky Horror. I love Rocky Horror, but those songs are actually a part of that scene. It's not just, like, a background music or anything like that. So,
Right.
even if you took something like, let's say, like, Baz Luhrmann's, like, Moulin Rouge, right? Those... no, sorry, let's do a better one, like Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Chicago. Great soundtrack, right? But if you took those songs out, the plot has these big holes in it.
Right. So,
Tommy, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tommy.
yeah.
Tommy's really good.
well, because, like, one of my favorite films is Little Shop of Horrors, and,
Yeah, I had to
so
discount
I
that.
couldn't include that in the list.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I don't know, we're gonna just kind of do this, like, one soundtrack at a time for each person, so, should I start, or do one of you guys want to start?
I'm good. Well, I'd say since Webcrawler is our guest here,
Oh, yeah.
we can have him start. And now for my list, mine are in no discernible order, so it's not like
Same.
I actually ranked mine like best to not as close to best.
Right.
'Cause these are our top 10, right? But they're just like they're my top 10 in no particular order.
Right, and mine's not, like, specifically ranked. It's pretty close, but...
Mine's not either, but, like, I will say this. The ones that popped in my head first are up high. So, it's like, and the first one that popped in my head is Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
So, I mean, what do you say about it? It's like every song on there is good.
Yeah.
There's not one bad song. I mean, it's part of it's kind of intermingled into the film. Even the opening credit scenes, they're playing it on the radio, to Jungle Boogie to, I mean, it's like, it's seamless, and it's, he kind of started a whole new genre of film just from the soundtrack itself. I mean, it's epic in the way the dialogue is, and the music fits in seamless with the time. It's the scene with where Uma Thurman and John Travolta, they're dancing. I mean, they mixed in the 50s and brought back icons. And it goes all this, and it just shows how much it's part of our culture. It intermingles through the film and intermingles through. It's perfect. I mean, I can't say anything bad.
Pulp Fiction is on my list too, and it's for the exact same reasons you say.
Yeah.
Because even like the was it the Statler brothers?
Counting flowers.
Counting
Right.
flowers on the wall?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in that whole scene with him in the car, and that whole, which then they reference in Die Hard 3. Die Hard. Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he's with Zeus, Samuel Jackson's character. And he's like, he's gonna be smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. But, but yeah, it's like I said, it's on my list too. But it's because it fits, and I think that Tarantino wasn't the first person to do this, but I think, like you said, he did usher in this wave where you had people that were, when they were writing movies, you had more people when they were writing movies that they had particular songs in mind, which leads into like a James Gunn thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, where it's like, I'm writing this, and these are the songs I have in mind that are going to fit these scenes. and it's perfect because when you have a director that is that involved not only with the screenplay but with all elements of the movie, you really do see that movie as he's writing it coming together, because he's seeing the whole thing, not just like, you see a scene in your head when you're writing, but you're envisioning this whole thing almost like a complete like work as he's thinking it. It's like it's blossoming to life.
I almost equate the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in some ways, even though it's not original score, is about as integral to the movie as John Williams' work to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's
100%.
like, would it be the same movie without it? And there's absolutely no. It wouldn't even have the same impact on any level. So it's integral.
I think that's an interesting point you bring up, is that when you look at some of these movies, those songs almost take the place of a score.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, where you've got that, there's a great, well, I think it's a really good documentary called, I think it's called Movie Magic, like the art of of movie editing. But and they talk about in one part they talk about a movie with no with no music, like no score, and without that, the scene doesn't go anywhere, and you don't really notice it a lot of times. But that is a big part of kind of like setting that mood and that tone.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have necessarily a score, and you do have a score with a lot of these things, like with Tarantino stuff. Ennio Morricone that did like I think he did like Hateful Eight and what was the one that came before that?
Django.
Yeah, Django, right. And but then you also have, like with these, you got a little bit of a score, but then you also have that music there, and that music is really kind of what sets the tone for a lot of those scenes.
Did he do Kill Bill too?
No, actually, Kill Bill was done by the RZA.
Okay.
All right.
And when I meant Kill Bill 2, I meant
Kill Bill also.
Kill Bill as well.
Yes.
And Deathstalker too. All right. So Turk, you just gonna say Pulp Fiction for yours as well?
Well, I know he you stole my bit. You stole my bit.
We're gonna have some crossover because we don't know who's got what.
Yeah. We didn't plan this out. I think mine's gonna be different than either of y'all's though, because I got some weird ass taste. So.
And I'm just gonna say this too, like,
you got weird ass taste on yours? I thought I was the only one.
I kind of took Star Wars and Indiana Jones off the table. It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's a given.
Right.
I mean, of course. So that's one I didn't put on there, but of course, I actually do own all those CDs, and I listen to them every once in a while.
Actually, I have the original Star Wars John Williams score on vinyl.
Yeah,
the original
nice.
vinyl upstairs. Yeah. All right. So, am I going next now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just because it's here and because Web Crawler stole one of mine, I'm going to steal one of yours.
All right.
Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
So
actually, which is on my list.
Blues Brothers is actually on TV right now as we're recording this. And the Blues Brothers is actually, fuck me, it's not on my list. It didn't make my cut.
Oh, that's right, it didn't, but it did mine.
Son of a bitch. So anyway, I'm still gonna count it. Okay. I actually have more than 10 on my list because I really had a hard time. But yeah, Blues Brothers is fantastic soundtrack.
It's beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. I love it. I was a huge fan of Blues Brothers before I ever saw the movie. Just I always loved their music. I loved the whole soul thing, or just them bringing back that genre. It's great.
And and the music scenes in this, you can take them out of the movie, right? And it doesn't hurt the movie. It hurts the movie as far as the overall appeal of it,
right?
Because they are integral to the whole what the movie's about, which is about music,
right?
But it doesn't hurt the plot. You take those out, you can still follow the whole plot and these guys going along, whatever.
Right. There's no critical dialogue or anything within the songs. It's just that the songs are fantastic in pieces to each scene.
They are.
They're bookends. That's what I was thinking. They're fantastic bookends to each scene. But damn, I mean, there's some really good pieces there. I mean, some of the best Blues Brothers songs are on this soundtrack, I would say.
And the thing with the movie in this is that when you think of Blues Brothers, outside of the car chases, right? Mm-hmm. What's the first thing you think of?
The
musical performances.
Musicals,
yeah. I mean, you think of Blues Brothers and you automatically think of Shake Your Tail Feather. Mm-hmm. You think, Minnie the Moocher.
Old Landmark.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so those things,
I can't
Rawhide,
contribute
I
to
was
this
gonna
because I've just never been a big fan of the movie.
Really?
So I've never really
Wow.
watched it too much. Yeah.
freaking John Landis, dude.
I know. I just can't get into it for whatever reason.
Wow.
So that's why I'm being quiet. Sorry.
Dude, like,
Knock
no,
it off, you fat penguin.
no, I mean, like, I'm not offended or upset or anything. It just surprises me because I haven't heard many people who don't care for the movie. So that's interesting
Actually, it's
to me.
funny that we're talking about this because I actually had a conversation yesterday about the other people that felt the same way I did.
Really?
They never
Really?
understood it. So, but no, it's good. I mean, it's fine.
Well, I
It's
mean,
all
it
good.
was apparently a real dumpster fire of production because Dan Aykroyd is always very like overambitious with his projects, and I think like the original script to this was supposed to be like what 340 pages, something like that.
Yeah.
And they had to pare down so much. So I would love to see the original script.
So I think the way it's supposed to work is that every page is 1 minute of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying 340 pages, that's a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie is...
And I think it was John Landis who said that, like, you know, when Aykroyd gave him the original script, he was like, if I threw this at somebody, it would kill them. We can't use all this.
So we're talking about soundtracks, not the movie, so I'm not going to get into that. But, pulling that, I think part of getting that movie is pulling in that talent, too. Mm-hmm. And when you're saying we're going to make a movie like this, and we need this kind, and the talent looks at it and goes, yeah, not only do we want to contribute to this movie, right?
Yeah.
We want to be a part of it, too. And I'm not sure that's exactly how the conversation went down, but it's just that says a lot about the soundtrack itself and about and I think this also goes back we were just talking about. It's also the love of this music too.
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
that Dan Aykroyd had a huge love.
Is that Cab Calloway?
It is.
Okay,
Cab
I didn't
Calloway.
know that.
That is the Cab Calloway.
But yeah, I mean, he had a love for blues, and this whole movie is just nothing but a big tribute to blues.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's a love letter to a bygone era. I'll go ahead.
Oh, sorry, and that may be it. Like, I'm just not a big blues. I never got into it. So
I'm
it's
not a
just-
big blues guy either,
Yeah,
but I do
yeah.
love this movie. So
No,
here's
that's cool.
interesting story. My mom went and saw Blues Brothers in the theater right when it came out.
I thought you were gonna say that she went to see them live, and I was gonna just like
No.
freak the fuck out.
Well, she did get married at the House of Blues in.
Then now I thought you were gonna say she did marry Dan Aykroyd. I was like, come on!
Dude, would I be fucking living here? She married Dan Aykroyd. Seriously?
I don't know. Things
He
happen.
married the chick from Wayne's World. Like, he did
Yeah.
alright. Yeah.
Yeah. Garth, who's also in Spies Like Us. She's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Chevy
yeah.
Chase's thing. Yeah, because she's
Yeah,
like
she's
Garth's
fantastic.
love interest in Wayne's World.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, she did get married at the House of Blues in New Orleans.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I was gonna say she went and saw the movie when it in the theater when it originally came out, and she got pulled over on the way home for speeding.
Wow.
That's the kind of effect that movie had.
Oh yeah. That's fantastic.
That's
but yeah,
hilarious.
no, just a great soundtrack,
Runaway
beautifully
Bride.
put together.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Because she's
No,
Runaway.
it's Black Widow.
no. I'm talking about like when she's speeding and she just got married. Runaway.
No, she just saw the movie.
Oh,
And she was leaving the movie and she was
okay,
speeding
okay.
because of all the speeding and the car chasing in the movie. No,
Well,
her
But I
wedding
thought,
was
when you said wedding, I thought it was like right with each other. Like,
no, her wedding was more of a Black Widow kind of thing.
So you bringing that up kind of puts the rest of it puts the next piece on my list a little bit out of order, but that's okay. But since we're on the subject of Blues Brothers, the next one on my list is Blues Brothers 2000 because that's also a fantastic soundtrack. So neither of those are like my top ones, but I friggin' love the Blues Brothers 2000 soundtrack, and I haven't even seen Blues Brothers 2000 all the way through yet. But just that soundtrack, man, I love it so much.
I was gonna say I'm even less familiar with that one than the original.
It gets a lot of hate. Like Blues Brothers 2000, people just don't like it for a lot of reasons, but it's got such a good soundtrack.
His brother filled in for him, right?
No.
It wasn't.
Nope.
No, it was John Goodman.
It was Goodman.
Yeah,
Okay, that's right.
But his brother filled in for him, like on their stage performances and stuff. He was Brother Z.
I got you.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's just like it's got such a good soundtrack. I mean, like John Goodman and Dan Aykroyd do "Looking for a Fox." They do "Ghost Riders in the Sky."
That's a good one.
Oh, it's so good. Of course, there's "Season of the Witch." Funky Nassau. Funky Nassau was great.
I love that's one of my favorite songs in that one. And you've got Joe Morton, in there as well.
Yep, John the Revelator.
Yep.
Who's that writing?
It's such a good soundtrack.
You got Johnny Lang, you got Blues Traveler.
I was about to mention Johnny Lang.
Oh man, I love Johnny Lang.
And is it? I think when we do this record, we were talking. Is it Sam and Dave that do what 6 3 4 5 7 8 9?
It might be, but that's Johnny Lang primarily who did 634.
And no, the hotline.
Yeah, 6345789. That's Johnny Lang on this list.
See, Johnny Lang in the movie. Johnny Lang shows up. Oh no, he is in there. He is at the place because the two guys are singing, but he's there. I keep thinking of the part where John Popper comes in. He's like, "Hey, we guys are performing around here, and can you come see us?" And they're like, "Yeah," and they start playing, and then they drive off because
Yeah.
And then what's Aretha Turner's other song?
RESPCT.
Does she Respect?
That's Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She did Respect on that one. The Blues Brothers movies were what put her career back on the map, because she'd kind of fallen by the wayside there.
You better think about the consequences. Oh, hush up, woman.
But this was what turned me on to Blues Traveler, because they do Maybe I'm Wrong, and I fucking love that song. It's so good.
I've got one that's got Blues Traveler on the
nice.
soundtrack. That's why and it's the reason I got into him as well.
Yeah. Really?
A different movie though.
Nice.
And I got into him, Blues Traveler, just from their very first song, Run Around.
Oh, I love Run Around.
I love the hook too.
The hook is good, and that Mountains Win Again. Those are good songs.
I don't want to say the song that I want to talk about because it's from the movie.
But yeah, so Blues Brothers 2000. I'm not as well versed with the soundtrack because I'm just used to seeing a movie, and I've only seen it a couple times. I think it's a solid movie. I think it starts off really well. It's a very somber start, but I think it's really good. And the soundtrack, like I said, watching it, I need to watch it again to really get that feeling. What is the song that the Reverend Cleophas Jones does in 2000?
That's John the Revelator, right?
No, is that John? Yeah, because that's the revival.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, speaking of which, we're right here at the scene of the movie with Reverend Cleophas Jones. Do you see the light?
Because on this first movie, it's Old Landmark.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
There again, I'm like Donnie from Big Lebowski. I have no frame of reference. So I'm not chime in. It's just I've got nothing.
It's so good. Which, I mean, if it's not your musical tastes, then maybe so. But hey, John Belushi was into heavy metal pretty much exclusively before Dan Aykroyd awakened him to the wonders of blues. So.
And I love in this scene, which I'm sure a lot of people know, whatever, but I think it's greatly overlooked. And jumping back to Blues Brothers, is this scene here with James Brown, Reverend Cleophas Jones. They actually did just a close up on him right now. Shaka Khan is in the choir.
Nice.
An underrated singer, actually. She's got a really good voice.
Oh yeah, Shaka Khan's great. Shaka Khan.
Let me rock it because I feel for you.
All right, so
Cue the harmonica.
I can't do that. I can't play the mouth harp, which is actually okay.
I feel for you.
You think you love me?
It might be love.
All right, so
Wall Crawler.
Okay, my next one might be surprising, but Batman vs Superman, Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL. Okay, derivative. There's a lot of John Williams influence, I think, and just with some modern takes on it. But there's two things: the Wonder Woman theme and the Lex Luthor song are genius. I mean, it's modern genius, and I know the film is controversial, but for me, as a modern score and stuff, I think it's I enjoy it, and when I did my list, I was trying to include stuff that I actually own and have listened to. So I went out of my way to actually buy it, and that doesn't happen too often. So that's why I put it on there, because I know the movies, but if you listen to those songs, it's a cool mix of modern and old school, and it works. I mean, even if you don't like the film, you can't deny that those scores are powerful.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, I mean, I love Hans Zimmer's stuff, and I mean, I've said before that like I love modern film scores because that's the closest thing you're going to get to classical music in this day and age.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Hans Zimmer and
Junkie XL.
well, no,
Yeah,
just
did
like Hans Zimmer and Star Wars guy John Williams.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I totally blanked on his name for some reason, but just I think those guys are modern geniuses. Absolutely.
I'd
Even
have to
did the
toss
Dark
Jerry
Phoenix.
Goldsmith in there too,
Jerry Goldsmith.
as far as a what's the word I'm looking for? Not choreographer.
Composer.
Thank you,
Minor
composer. Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith is really good too.
And Hans Zimmer did, like, I know there's another one, Dark Phoenix. Like, people didn't like the movie, but he did some of the scores for it, and they're really good. I mean, it's like if you listen to the music, it's amazing. The movie's maybe not the best thing in the world, but like he makes good music. So
I think a
that's
good
not-
soundtrack can help a weak movie a lot.
Oh yeah.
That said, I enjoyed Batman vs Superman. I thought it was way better than
say,
people give it credit for.
I think we need to we actually need to do a separate podcast about Batman vs Superman because we've talked a lot about it back and forth and all like the key moments and the great parts about that movie that are overlooked. You know,
and I have my theory about it too.
Yeah. And we've talked about one of my favorite lines is like the "You're not brave,"
Yeah.
which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then so we still need to talk about Justice League too.
Well, I still have to see Justice
I
League
know.
before we can talk about it.
Well, then
But-
also Batman vs Superman. If you watch the extended cut, like it's
better.
It's much better movie.
It
It's
does
like,
it does
I don't-
tighten some pieces up. Not it doesn't answer all your questions
No.
and make everything neat, but it does tighten some scenes up. But I listened. There was a thing on NPR where they talked to Junkie XL about working with Hans Zimmer and kind of how that works. So you're talking about two different
Yeah.
styles of music
yeah.
creative like artists and bring it together. And I will say, and I'm not gonna. This is gonna sound kind of controversial, and it's not meant to be that way, right? Because I'm not trying to downplay the effect of Wonder Woman, right? But without that Wonder Woman theme,
Yeah.
I don't think she would have initially been as popular as she was, because when that theme kicks in and she shows up, then she is like a tour de force, because that theme just drives her. And like even before she's on the screen, you hear that theme and it's like something big is coming in and bam, she hits and it's like holy shit.
It was my ringtone for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Like, I loved it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
they-
it's powerful. I mean, it
is.
hits you.
They handled her very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well. Like, when I first heard that they were casting Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I was like, I don't know. And then I saw her and I was like, holy shit, she is Wonder Woman.
I was like, yeah,
perfect.
she's attractive. There's
Gorgeous.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I was like, do I really see her as being Wonder Woman? Because Wonder Woman does have a very, like, she's an Amazon, so you have this very kind of like, kind of like tight fitness physique, kind of thing.
buff.
Like when you see, now of course you haven't seen it, but Webcrawler in the Justice League movie when I keep thinking Tur, but it's not Tur.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, thank you.
Yeah.
So when Steppenwolf shows up on Themyscira, and they're trying to get the box out of there, and she tells the two women to close the gate, and they take those big hammers and they like knock down the pillars, and you see those women are like freaking bodybuilders.
Yeah.
That's what I expect, a more slightly feminine, in air quotes, which you guys can't see, like version of that kind of body build, not quite like Death by Snoo Snoo. And you think about Gal Gadot, I'm like, that's not what I see. But then she shows up, she's like, she's like straight up Como D, like, how you like me now? And I'm like, no, dude, I give in.
Yeah.
No,
like-
and like you're thinking more like the Frank Miller version of or Wonder Woman. Like she's a little thicker. Like like she's a little bit more broad. I mean, she has a more stronger presence. But then like her acting kind of makes up for the fact that maybe visually she's not exactly what you thought to begin with. Like what your perception of what you thought Amazons would be.
Well, I was thinking more of a not quite as buff like She-Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. That's
yeah.
what the Frank Miller version is, because she's thick, but she's not like cut.
Right.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
Because I'm thinking, because like in my mind, I'm thinking this is way, way, way old school when it comes to like fitness. But I'm thinking of people like a Corey Everson or a Linda Murray or a Sharon Bruno as far as like the fitness and everything. Or even a chick I love so much, from back in the day. Gabrielle Reese, volleyball player.
yeah.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking. Like on Amazon, I'm like, bam, that's it. And she didn't have that look for me. I'm like, I just see her like, with Dom Toretto and everything, behind the wheel of a car. And then, like, she was like, hey, Turk182, you can shut the fuck up. And you're like, you're right, I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the whole thing. Well, there's all this question like Amazons even really existed or whatever. But like the Amazons, like supposedly they cut one of their breasts off.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that
for
up.
the
for the arrows. Yeah,
for the arrows and stuff. And like they've never really gone that quite far. But I thought I'd like for them to one day. It's
You'd like to see a one-titted Wonder Woman?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, why not? I mean, like that's the legend, right? Like play more off from the original. Like
that would be an interesting take.
Yeah. So I'm just watching you. You're actually a righty. Son of a bitch!
The fallen archer.
I guess I'll just learn to use a sword.
And then to even go further, like maybe African American, like they did with Valkyrie.
Oh
it's
yeah.
like maybe have like an African American. Why not? I mean, that would have actually made more sense to me. Like African American. Yeah.
They have one.
No, not for the movie though. That's what I'm saying.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why did they do it for the movie?
Yeah, well, because I that would have created a bunch of shit that I really wouldn't have cared to see.
Yeah.
But
I've been okay. Actually, out of almost anything, that wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah, well, it's the thing. It wouldn't have bothered me, but there would have been so many people like, oh, because you have to think about the bigger audience that doesn't know that she exists.
Black Wonder Woman, the libtards are ruining the country.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, the soundtrack, like you said, is it's. I haven't heard. I don't know the soundtrack as well, but that song and like I said, the collaboration of two of those, which you would think like, how would they work together? And like I said, you've got to hear. If you haven't heard the interview, look it up. It's really good.
Okay.
All right, so I guess it's my turn now, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so see, I got to count my list again because I think I actually have 12 on my list. And so let's see, 1, 2.
Oh, look at me! My name's Turk182. I'm too good for the rules.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, while I'm at it, let me just take some of Acomi's off of his list. I want all the list.
So I actually have I have technically 12 on my list, but since Webcrawler like stole one of mine, right? That actually gives me a free space.
I got alternates too.
Oh yeah, I have an honorable mentions list.
Me too.
No, same here.
Okay. So my next one I'm actually going to bring up is the Crow soundtrack.
Yes.
That is. I didn't even think of that.
The Crow soundtrack is incredible.
The first one's actually the second one's good too.
Yeah. Well,
not as good.
I'm pulling it up
anyway.
now.
So the Crow soundtrack is amazing. It was the first time I heard Rage Against the Machine, and the song on there is great. It's probably one of the only songs I actually like. No, sorry. There's only 2 songs I like by Henry Rollins and the Rollins Band. One is Liar. Right?
Because of that, yeah.
And then the other one is the one from the Crow soundtrack, the Ghost Rider Motorcycle Hero.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You've got a Cure song on there, which is fantastic. The 9 Inch Nails song is great.
Holy shit, it's got a Stone Temple Pilots song on there?
Oh yeah, Big Empty.
Yep.
Holy
Big
fuck.
Empty. It's
Love some STP.
Yeah, dude, it's got My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult is on there.
Slip Slide Melting. Wasn't that on the first one?
It doesn't look like it, but
I thought that's what it was on there.
Google isn't always like.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah, I wish I actually had all my CDs here because I actually just grabbed the CD. But I mean, I've got the CDs, but I don't have the cases.
I still want to see The Crow.
You need to see The Crow. The Crow's a beautiful movie. But yeah, that soundtrack, I remember getting it, and I've worn that soundtrack out. It's such...
For Love Not Lisa.
Oh yeah, For Love Not Lisa.
Yeah, like we actually like when we went to Charlotte here. That's it. First time I ever went there was '94, and me and my friend pretty much just played that song from Roanoke to Charlotte. I mean, we just listened the hell out of that thing. It was
the soundtrack.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
it's good.
Yeah,
oh yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't say enough about that. And the thing is, it really fits the tone of the movie as well. The songs are heavy in tone, but they're not necessarily dark. Now they feel like when you're watching the movie, you listen to the songs, they feel like dark, right? But if you listen to them just outside the movie, of course you're going to get, like vision of the movie in your head, like Sugar Plums. But the songs themselves are just heavy in tone, even the Rage songs, that first Rage song I ever heard, and you've got the song, the Jane Siberry, Can't Rain All the Time, which is a really nice song. And that's a pretty light song, again, with a very heavy tone.
Yeah, I really want to see the movie and hear all this, because like I've heard nothing but good things about The Crow.
Oh, The Crow is a really good movie. It's very, obviously knowing the story and blah blah blah. It is sad. I don't mean to blah 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 that away, but yeah, it's really sad. But yeah, the movie is good and the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Awesome.
No, it is. I agree. Like I actually forgot about it, but it is. But I'll say this too: I was more into that type of music back then. I was not as much as into that type of stuff now, but I still love it. It's awesome.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bring up my personal favorite soundtrack, and Turk knows what this is because I never shut up about it. But I gotta pay tribute to this, which of course.
So is it? Here's what we know.
Yes, here's what we know. Yes, Baby Driver. I absolutely love the Baby Driver soundtrack, which I'm an Edgar Wright fanboy anyway. But
And it's got that Ronnie James Dio song on it. Baby Driver. No, sorry, that's Holy Divers. I'm thinking of something else. But go on.
But it does have the Ricky Nelson thing. They call me Baby Driver. But yeah, no, I mean, just like it's got so much good stuff, just a range of styles and genres and time periods.
Never saw it.
You've never seen Baby
You've never
Driver?
seen Baby Driver?
Yeah,
You've never seen Baby Driver?
never seen Baby Drive.
Oh, dude, it is.
I've never seen the Baby Drive.
Why?
Dude,
Why not?
dude.
I'm not a big
Edgar Wright fan?
Jamie Foxx guy. Like, I don't really like him that much.
Well, he's not the center of the movie.
Well, I don't know anything about it. I've never even really, to be honest, I don't think I've really heard of it.
But
before.
Bats,
Dude, it's so good.
Bats is an asshole, but he plays Bats really well.
He does. It's cast beautifully. Just like I cannot say enough good things about Baby Driver. It is.
Yeah, Baby Driver is.
I don't know if I want to say it's my very favorite movie, but it's probably like top 3.
Okay,
My
You know,
favorite
I just never
films.
know.
Cinderella came on, the live action Cinderella came on the other day, and I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, she's still not as cute as she is a Baby Driver. And I just
She is a darling.
she is. No, Darling's a darling.
Darling is incredible too. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I mean like just so much good stuff. You've got like Bell Bottoms as the opening song.
Bell
Bell Bottoms. Yeah, you got Egyptian reggae.
Okay, so we mentioned this before on the soundtrack, and
Right.
I mention it again. Right, is Egyptian reggae in that scene when he's like, they sit over here was like listen to what Egyptian reggae. I thought Egyptian reggae was the genre,
Right.
Until you showed me the soundtrack. You
Yeah,
just actually the name of the song.
And that's what I thought. But yeah, we it was during some downtime at one of the cons. We were just like chilling in the hotel, and I just like pulled that up on YouTube and was just playing the entire soundtrack. And you were like, the name of the song's Egyptian reggae?
I'm looking up the soundtrack, and it's like it's split up into 2 discs. There's a lot of
Yeah,
music
it's
in it.
huge. It's like a 30-song soundtrack,
Yeah.
and I've listened to that shit so much. But I mean, you've got like Deborah by T-Rex, you've got Deborah by Beck. Oh man, like what all? They got a really nice cover of Tequila. Hold on, I'm trying to get the whole list pulled up here.
I got it right here.
Oh yeah, I just got it. Oh shit, of course. I mean, it's got Hocus Pocus by Focus, which is a phenomenal rock song. Absolutely incredible rock
I'll
song.
have to check it out sometime.
Brighton Rock by Queen, of course. I mean, that's like it's such a perfect song for the scene that it's in.
Oh yeah, it is. It is absolutely.
The Was He Slow remix, that's really good.
Was he slow?
And
slow?
it's and I know Turk, you don't really care for Young MC, but they do have a Young MC song that's actually really good.
I do not. So okay, I used to give Young MC a little bit of credit because he wrote a lot of Tone Loc's songs, right?
Yeah.
But then when I go back and listen to Tone Loc's songs like Funky Cole Medina, I can't get behind it. I can't get behind a date rape song. I'm sorry, I just can't. That's exactly what that is. That's a date rape song, and I can't get behind that anymore.
We need to do a Bill Cosby cover of that. The Funky Cole Medina.
Just don't forget that song, Pudding Pop.
Medina in the class. Why hasn't anyone done that yet?
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, no, I mean, they do Know How by Young MC, and it's like, it's such a good hip-hop song. I really, really like it. Oh man, what all else is on here? There's so much. There's so many songs. There's like 30 songs. Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Is it the It's the Commodore's version, isn't it? Right? Not the Faith No More version.
Yeah, the Commodore's version. And I can't remember which one it is on this track list, but during the second bank heist with JD, not Groovy JD. Oh, what's that one? Be a man, be a mystery man. Be a doll, be a baby doll.
I don't remember the name of it.
Shit, I'll never. Is it Neat 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 by the Damned?
That might be it.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's it. But I mean, just I cannot say enough good things about the movie and about the soundtrack. I love everything about Baby Driver. Just the cast, the acting, the pacing. I absolutely love it, and that is probably my most listened to soundtrack. I love the range. I love all the songs on it. It's fantastic.
Why don't you marry you?
You know, maybe I will.
Maybe you have.
Can I be your best man?
Take your damn ring back, Turk.
All right, so that's it. This is over. This whole thing's over.
All right, so Wallcrawler.
All right. I'll say in my list too. Like, not only did I try to get stuff that I own, I'm cheating a little here. I don't own this one, but like I think a lot of it has to do with how much you like a movie too. So it's like, I mean, it kind of intermixed, you know, of course, and just because I like the movie. I mean, like I haven't seen this movie in a long time too, but it stayed with me. I've always loved it. Like Out of Sight.
Oh yeah.
And like David Holmes does a lot of it like himself, and then he intermixed a few songs here and there. And they're not the best songs in the world, but like I like the eclectic. I like eclectic things that are just kind of all over the place. And he throws in little songs that maybe wouldn't be something that you would go out and buy for yourself, like Watermelon Man. I mean, it's weird, but it works with the movie. See?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, and then like I sent it to you the other day. Rip Rip.
Oh, Rip Rip is good.
And then the soundtrack's awesome because it intermixed the dialogue. I like the movies that do that, the dialogue with the music like it was in the film, and it reminds you of the scene, and it just, the soundtrack itself is just awesome. The only reason I even know about it is because a buddy of mine, he had it, and like when I was in college, and I listened to it all the time because he was listening to it all the time, and it's just maybe it's just one of those things I just heard it so many times it just never left me, you know? And so when I think of good music in a movie, I think of that
and
very often.
And what was it?
Out of Sight.
Out of Sight.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. You should
Out of
see
Sight
that
is a
too.
beautiful
I
movie.
hear really good things about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I won't stop talking about it because it is such a good movie. I love Out of Sight.
I know it happens at least once per recording session where you're like, "Have you seen Out of Sight?" And I'm like, "No," and you go,
Yeah, we should watch it. We should watch it.
Yeah, we should. But you know, so I haven't heard the soundtrack, but I do know the songs from the movie. And I do love the movie, and I even read the book. And I read the book after I watched the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you sent me Rip Rip, which is a good song, and they use, you know, I think one of the good things about something like that is, you know, you're talking about Steven Soderbergh, and I'm not sure how much influence he had over the soundtrack for the movie, but there's a difference in the tone of the music that's used from when they start off in Florida to when they move to Detroit. And of course, when they move to Detroit, then you've got more of the Detroit sound, right? Than what you had in Florida, but it also stays within the whole vein of the movie, and it works. And you still have these really good songs, you know.
And then the whole scene with them in the trunk, you know, the intimacy, like it's every. I mean, of course, like that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to set the. It's like color in a comic book.
Yeah.
It matters. It sets the tone, and the music definitely sets the tone, and it's pretty seamless. I mean, everything kind of works, like you said. Like it's every location they're at, every scene. It just I don't know if the movie would be the same without it. So there again.
So I think something else with that is that when you're talking about how like the music changes based upon the location, right? But then you also still have a central theme that goes across both locations, and still it doesn't feel out of place.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like I was agreeing with you. Like I knew what you were saying because I agree. Like it's from one spot, and I hadn't really thought about it like that. But you're right. Like as soon as you said it, it just maybe I hadn't thought about it because, like you said, it is seamless. It doesn't. It's not. It's subtle.
Yeah,
but it works.
I tell you one of my favorites, and I'm not even sure what the song is, or you know, it's when Jack Foley goes to when Karen Sisco's at the hotel bar, and the guys are trying to pick her up, and one thing is just a beautiful scene anyway, the way it's shot, where you're just seeing her reflection in the window with the snow falling in the background, and then Jack comes up, and there's that music that's playing, that's really soft music there, and then of course you do the kind of like it's not really a montage, but that kind of like intercut shot of them talking to when they're in a room, and then that soft theme is playing. That's a beautiful like tone, that theme, that just it's so nice there. And it really, not only does it really set the mood, but with everything that's going on. And again, we're talking about music in the movies, but that you're going from it's a change in the tone of the movie, where you're going from like this whole tension piece, right, with him and Buddy, right, where they're scoping out the place,
Yeah.
and then cuts to there, and then you're about to go back into another very tense scene, and this just really just kind of like ramps you down, right, and to build you back up, so that music, right, really kind of helps carry you as a viewer and as a listener down, right, very easily, right, and to kind of like get you to kind of relax you, right, so you can kind of enjoy and then build back up instead of carrying that tension across, which would kind of make you lose part of the movie there if you were still staying tense from the scene before all the way through. It's like now you get to ramp down and build your tension back up to kind of to get there. It's done, but that's what a good song is supposed to do for a movie,
and that's why it's on my list. Like I agree with everything you're saying, and then like, I know we're not supposed to talk about the film so much, but I just want to say this too: was Boogie Nights first, or was this first?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because this is kind of a breakthrough. To be honest, it's more of a breakthrough, even if it wasn't for me, for Don Cheadle in this role.
Oh,
Then this is kind of where he started to really pop for me, and like his performance in this was like great. Like I really liked him in this.
yeah. I was actually telling somebody at work the other day about Boogie Nights, and of course I'm over here now trying to pull up my movie to see.
Boogie Nights was '98, right? I just can't remember. Out of Sight was after that, or was it the same year?
Let's see. I don't know.
I think Boogie Nights was '98. I might be wrong about that.
All right, so man, this is hard to read. I don't know. Boogie Nights was made by New Line Cinema. I do love Boogie Nights. It is.
We still have to see Boogie Nights, yeah.
Yeah, you do. You really do. I was telling the guy about it. One of my favorite scenes. She's like, "This font on here is so hard to read." I'd probably just be better up looking up on IMDb. If one of you guys would do that, that'd be fantastic.
1997. So Out of Sight. When was that? So I was a year off. So Out of Sight might have been after.
But it is. I think you're exactly right. Where we are talking about the two standout performances by Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Who again, we're not talking about the movies themselves. That's a whole different thing. But you know about a guy that has
Boogie Nights was first.
Huh?
Boogie Nights was first.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who has worked and has been a standout actor starting from the movie Colors back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Where he played Rocket.
Yeah.
And then going from that to Golden Palace. The spinoff from the Golden Girls TV show. And then Don Cheadle just being kind of like this really good background guy. And I'll just add on that, since we're just kind of just touching on him for a minute. The movie Traitor.
Yeah.
You've seen Traitor, right? With Don Cheadle?
Oh.
And
I really like his work in Captain Planet too.
The power is yours.
If you have not seen Traitor, check it out. Traitor is a great movie with him and Guy Pearce and everything. But the ending is beautiful. When I saw the ending and I'm not gonna say anything about it, when I saw the ending, I was like, holy shit, that's beautiful. And that's all I gotta say. You have to see Traitor.
Okay.
All right. So is it my turn?
Your go, yep.
All right. So and I almost said something. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it stand until it's actually my turn. But my next pick is the Crow City of Angels soundtrack. You touched on that and everything, but
good. It is good.
So the first song on the soundtrack is "Gold Dust Woman" by Hole, a cover of I think Stevie Nicks' song, right? Now, I think everybody knows how I feel about Courtney Love, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that. This is not that discussion, but I will say I do like some songs by Hole, right?
Yeah.
And I like Celebrity Skin. I do like that album. And this is one of those songs where I think that she did very well. Hole did a really good job of Gold Dust Woman. I'm not a Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac fan, but I do like their songs when they're done by other people, right? Smashing Pumpkins' version of Landslide, I love, right? The only Stevie
Did
Nicks.
not know Smashing Pumpkins did a cover of Landslide.
You've never heard that?
No.
Okay, well, we got to play that when we're done here.
I always just knew the shit, why am I blanking on the name? The Dixie Chicks cover of Landslide.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, so
I like the White Zombie song.
yeah,
Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. Which
Boogeyman.
I actually have the single for "I'm Your Boogeyman." You know who sings on that with him?
Who?
Lionel Richie.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's like the Red Groovy remix. I think is what it's called. A single, and it's him and Lionel Richie doing "I'm Your Boogeyman."
This one introduced me to PJ Harvey too. Like
Really?
I'd never heard of him before that, and I really liked it.
PJ Harvey, I remember learning about PJ Harvey from Beavis and Butthead TV series. They were like one of the videos came up. But I was gonna say the only song I actually say I like by Stevie Nicks, aka / Fleetwood Mac, is actually the Stevie Nicks song "Blue Lamp" that is on the heavy metal soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
You know the reason I bought that
What?
CD was because Toadies was on there, and like
Oh, the
Toadies,
Toadies Possum Kingdom?
Rubberneck's one of my favorite CDs of all time.
So you have Gold Dust Woman, you've got "I'm Your Boogeyman" by White Zombie, not Rob Zombie, White Zombie, Jurassitol by Filter. You know, hey old man, got something for you. Jurassitol is a great song.
I used to have a hat. I used to wear it all the time, filter hat.
You've got "I Want to Be Your Dog" by Iggy Pop. That's a great song. You got Deftones on there. Amy, Seven Mary 3. You've got some great artists on here.
I
And you've
like
got some
7 Mary 3.
really good songs. You know Seven Mary 3. You know where they get their name from, right?
Nah.
Seven Mary 3 is the call number for Ponch and John from Chips.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Seven Mary 3.
That's cool.
So anyway, yeah, it's the City of Angels soundtrack. The movie is shite, straight up shite.
It is.
But except for the only thing about that movie that's good is when the guy goes, "You know what they call a group of crows? A murder." Right? That was the only thing, and that was like the first time I'd heard that. Right? First time I'd heard it.
For some reason, my brain fixated on that stupid line from X-Men of what happens when you strike a toad with lightning. So it was like, you know what you call a group of crows? The same thing you call everything else.
God, that's okay. So I think we talked about this. Like there was actually supposed to be a running theme in the movie, but they took all the other scenes out and just left
So
that one, which is
stupid.
so guys.
So stupid.
I will give X-Men credit for being the first,
A
right?
movie.
Yeah, for being a movie, but it is not good. And you know, we were talking yesterday about was it Geek Girl or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
and her whole defense of Cyclops, which I can't get
Geek
behind.
Girl 19, I think, or is it Comic Book Girl 19?
Right, something. But and I mean, no, she is knowledgeable, and I will straight up give her that. But her defense of Cyclops, no, Cyclops is an ass from day one.
We just made T-shirts. Scott Summers sucks.
Yeah,
I mean, because he does.
Yeah, so Scott Summers was wrong. You know what he did? Do put a picture of Murphy, Charlie Murphy on there,
Charlie Murphy.
right? And Scott Summers was wrong. But I mean, but Cyclops is an ass, and you know, but I will say that he was not handled properly, really, in any of those scenes, except for what we kind of briefly talked about last night.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anyway, you know, beside all that,
It's funny too. Like I just want to point out this. Like it's funny that you're listening to this because like I forgot about the Crow movies. That both of them are fantastic. Like you almost should just count it for the first one because it's just because like the movie just you can disregard the movie. It's the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like,
it should just be called like Crow soundtrack Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Almost like the Baby Driver. Like just put them together. It's like just the movie doesn't just put them in.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that like, you know, something like Baby Driver. I mean, you can just listen to that soundtrack, and you never need to see the movie. You should see the movie because
you
it's
should see the movie.
fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I think that like those. I think my favorite soundtracks are the ones that kind of stand on their own like that.
Yeah.
Now that said, I'm gonna my next soundtrack might not stand on its own super well, but it's definitely one that is very near and dear to my heart, and it's also from an Edgar Wright film, so Turk knows what this is gonna be, which of course it is.
Oh, see, No, sorry, not Ant-Man. I see. Edgar Wright.
Come on, man.
Because right now only thing I'm thinking of is the Cornetto trilogy, and I'm like, no. He's got other stuff other than that.
Come on, it's
Give me a hint. Rhymes with
Blotch Milgram.
Blotch Milgram.
Come on,
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim soundtrack is awesome.
Motherfucker. Blotch Milgram.
There again, like I liked the movie okay, but I think I waited too long to see it. I didn't see it in the zeitgeist when everything was like, oh, Scott Pilgrim, and I waited too long, and I guess it didn't live up. You know how like sometimes something gets hyped so much that it can't live up to the expectation.
Right.
I think that's what happened to me there. I liked it, but I didn't think it was like,
Well, I'll tell you, I saw Scott Pilgrim because it didn't come here to the main theater. It came to the Dollar Theater.
Okay.
Nice.
And I it was only there for 1 week. I saw it was playing, and we went and saw it on Thursday. The next day was Friday, and new movies came out, and it wasn't there. So if we had seen that Thursday, I never would have saw it in theaters.
Wow.
And because it just, that's just kind of how it happened.
So,
But I didn't hit the hype, and I'm a big anti-hype guy,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Which is why I didn't get into Harry Potter till after the last movie, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll read the books now, right?
love those books.
Because I hate the hype. When something, it's okay if it's a slow build hype,
Yeah.
but when it goes from like obscurity, and I know it's not really obscurity, but when it goes from obscurity to like bam, everybody's talking about it, I'm like, no, you've lost me completely.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I still haven't seen Game of Thrones.
But Scott Pilgrim, I know this is your conversation, but Scott Pilgrim, I didn't catch the hype. I saw the movie, and then from the movie, I kind of went in. I didn't even know it was a comic book.
yeah.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing. Like, I didn't watch the movie when it first came out, but a lot of people were recommending the comics in the circles I run in, because you guys know I love indie comics, and
Yes.
I follow a lot of indie comics, and a lot of people were like, give the books a read. So I read them, and I was like, I actually really, really enjoy these. And it's funny because Brian Lee O'Malley is very enthusiastic about music, and he always talks about like whatever CDs he was listening to while he was working on that particular book. So like at the end of a lot of the books, there's like, here's my playlist for like Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness or something like that, and it's really cool. So I was like, I'll give the movie a chance, and I fucking loved the movie. It was so good. It's very quotable. We quote it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But the soundtrack is great, which the soundtrack, all the Sex Bob-omb songs were handled by Beck, and we've talked about this. We actually talked about it on the Lost recording, talking about our film soundtracks. They have versions recorded by Beck, and they also have versions recorded by the actors who portrayed the Sex Bob-omb. And just they're all like super fun songs. They're just.
And I don't really care for Michael Cera, but I will give him credit for he did a great job in Scott Pilgrim, and the fact that he learned the bass,
Yeah.
and played played the bass and did the songs and everything. So I'm like, I gotta give you credit for that.
He broke off like acting a while, right? Did band, like he had a band and stuff,
Did he?
right?
Did
Like
he?
he was doing CDs and stuff for a while. He didn't want anything to do with movies for a while. That's why he was gone.
I think more like movies didn't want.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to him, but he really tried to break out of his mold that was put into him by like
Like Seth Rogen.
well, I was gonna say the Arrested Development, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so some of the movies he did I don't think were really like there. And then when he had the chance to be in like This Is the End, right? And he plays which I don't know, it could be very much Michael Cera, but he plays the off type what you think he is kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's still one of the things where he hasn't done anything to make studios or audiences be able to see him outside of this particular character.
Yeah.
Like, so take like
that's hard to do.
Take like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? You have to, or a Heath Ledger. Even guy like a lot. Shit. Hold on, give me a minute. Rhymes with DiCaprio, right?
Oh yeah.
You have to remove yourself from Hollywood for years, do smaller indie things or whatever, and then be able to showcase like, this is what I'm capable of doing, right? And kind of grow up and get out of that that kind of teeny bop tiger beat kind of like
Super
thing.
bad.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
god. Fuck
But
Superbad.
but in Hollywood that's so risky because when you step out of limelight, you can't get back in.
Yeah,
And it's like there's a velvet rope around that limelight that you don't see,
I was
and
wondering-
it's a really risky thing to do. And those are three people that I can say did it successfully. But there's a lot of people that step outside and they can't get back in.
Well, Michael Rooker, like they were interviewing him. I watched it the other day. It was that thing about Sam Jones and like the whole thing with Flash Gordon, and they were interviewing him, and he was basically saying, "What do you think about being typecast?" He's like, "It's great. It's because that means they're gonna call you back.
Yeah,
it's like you're taking your career in your hands if you veer from what people see you as."
You know, there was one point in time when the market to me was so saturated with Michael Rooker that I got sick of seeing him.
Yeah.
You know, he was in like Replacement Killers, and he was in this. It was like 4 or 5 movies all within like a year to 6 months that all had Michael around. I'm like, dude, I'm so sick of seeing this guy.
Well, the thing is, though, you're sick of seeing him, but he's not sick of getting the checks.
Oh,
and that's the thing. Is like, people oversaturation is a thing, but they're still getting paid.
Yeah,
so that they don't care.
Well, what was the guy from Jaws 3 who was like,
Michael
it's like I like the movie, I like the house that the movie bought or whatever.
Right, but I've never seen the movie.
Exactly. Yep.
But the soundtrack for Scott Pilgrim is so much good stuff. Which I mean, I could just talk about like Beck's contributions to that and leave it at that, because I mean, you've got stuff like Garbage Truck,
love,
Summertime, Threshold. I think Threshold is probably my personal favorite out of that. That's such a tight song. But I mean, there's also there's all these like non-original things that, you know, just like existing songs that were pulled in for it, like Oh Katrina, I heard Ramona sing. Help me out here. Under My Thumb, they have Under My Thumb by the Stones on there. Black Sheep by Metric, I love that. I absolutely love Black Sheep by Metric.
Yeah, it's introducing to Metric too. So.
Yeah. And, of course, the song Scott Pilgrim by Plumtree, which is what kicked off the whole phenomena. Plumtree's a really fun band. I actually really like Plumtree.
Okay.
Which, I know you're not typically super fond of Canadian bands, but Plumtree is a lot of fun.
I don't like Canadian bands, I just don't like Rush.
And Bieber. Which I hate Bieber too.
He's not a band, though.
He's just a piece of shit. Yeah. Sorry. and of course we do have the songs from Crash and the Boys, such as I Am So Sad, So Very Sad, and We Hate You, Please Die.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I mean, like, it's a 58-second song, but it's so good. It's so good.
So sad. I love that. It's not a race, guys. But you know, you're talking about like some of the songs and everything in that. Well, obviously we're all talking about all the songs, but the like I said, I love Garbage Truck and Threshold, right?
Yeah.
That thing. This is just like, to me, goes back to Blues Brothers. When I think of Threshold, the first thing that pops in my mind is that amp versus amp.
Oh yeah.
And then when he hits the pedal and kicks in and everything, it's like,
and
it's like, and when I hear Threshold, that's what pops in my head, is that scene. And when he just, again, I got to give credit to Michael Cera. You know, he hits that pedal and then he just starts jamming out on the bass. That's a badass scene.
And speaking of the bass, we do have to bring up the bass battle.
Oh yeah,
I did like that part.
That's so good. Sounds like somebody wants to get funky. so good. I absolutely love the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack.
Yeah, bass battle that's so good.
To be continued another day, bitches.
Did you hear when I paused?
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.